Hello, my name is Leonard, and this is the Symantec Enterprise Vault 10 for Exchange Administration, lesson number 12, Searching Archives. We've been talking about it since we started off in this particular course, the importance of indexes and how those indexes are going to be used to allow us to go through and search for items that have been archived by Enterprise Vault. Well, now we've gotten to the lesson where we're going to go through and look at a variety of different tools that are available to us in order to perform those search types of actions. We'll start off with the general search options that are available to us, show you some of the different screenshots of what they look like, and then we'll go in and start looking at individual specific search tools, including the Archive Explorer, integrated search, browser search, also looking at the mobile search client, and then we'll also look at the add-on to Enterprise Vault Discovery Accelerator. One of the time, if you're doing a lot of electronic discovery, this tool can do very large-scale searches, and it's oriented towards organizing that information once it's found it into distribution to a case in a legal discovery type of an environment. Starting off with our search options, this is an example of the shortcuts that we had seen in Outlook. And when we're looking with these shortcuts, we do have to be able to retrieve these items. Also, to see the information that's displayed in the shortcuts, we configured that with the mailbox policy. So you can see certain amounts of information that have been converted into HTML and/or text in the Outlook environment for the preview. But you also have the capability from within the Outlook environment to launch additional applications. In this particular example here, we're showing you the Archive Explorer view. And again, we will be coming through and looking at each one of these a little bit more detail. Shown beside the pop-up there are the two icons. On the left is the Outlook 2010 icon. On the right is the Outlook 2007 icon for launching the Archive Explorer. You do also have the capability of launching it manually from within a browser by typing in the address of the Enterprise Vault server and specifying the active server page Archive Explorer UI. We have a browser search capability, and this is what it looks like when you open up the items or find items in the browser search. Once again, you can open this up either from within the integrated search, or you also have the option of manually in a web browser typing in the address of the Enterprise Vault server and specifying the active server page search.asp. We also have the Search Vaults capability. This is from within the Outlook client. We can click on one of the icons, and again, on the right icon is the Outlook 2010 icon, and on the left is the Outlook 2010 icon. On the right is the Outlook 2007 icon. And once again, you can go to this search directly by typing in the URL for the web application for Enterprise Vault and using the active server page search o2k.asp. Additional search types of applications that are available include the mobile search. This is a web-based type of an application. It provides both the capability for searching and viewing from a variety of different mobile devices, the items that you have archived. It is included in the distribution media for your Enterprise Vault environment, and it is searchable or available in several different languages. And we will be looking at this in a little bit more detail later in the lesson. Also, we have Discovery Accelerator. This is an add-on piece of software to Enterprise Vault. It gives you a fast and secure mechanism for providing electronic discovery, for providing searches, and also to be able to analyze that information that has been found in the search, as well as exporting or producing that information for a legal evidence environment. So let's start off with the Archive Explorer, looking at that tool first. The Archive Explorer provides a tree view of the folders and the items in the archive. The folder structure should match the original location of the data in the address. It shows you the link here for where you need to go to the particular server, and then Enterprise Vault, and then Archive Explorer UI.asp to launch it from a web browser. And it can be launched from within Outlook or directly at the web browser. And also with the desktop policy, we talked about being able to use desktop policies in Enterprise Vault to control how your desktop user interface works. Well, you can tell the desktop policy to actually open up the Archive Explorer either within Outlook or in its own separate web browser. It'll display all the archives and the items to which the user has access to. So therefore, it could include items from both the file system archiving and SharePoint archives as well. And it will provide buttons and menu options for managing the items that you are, in fact, browsing inside of the archive. This shows you the example of what it looks like if you open up Archive Explorer in a web browser type of an application. You can go through and see all the variety of different vault types that are available to us. These can include the mailbox, shared items, file system, SharePoint, public folder, and this is all going to be based upon what you have permission to be able to see in your environment. Also within the Archive Explorer, it has a default set of headers by which it displays the information in your archive. However, if you wish, you can open up the pop-up menu by clicking on the bar there that has the subject and from on it, and you can select the display options, and you can add additional categories that can be displayed in the Archive Explorer. For example, in this screenshot, we've actually added the category retention category. That's not one of the default columns that are displayed for an archived item, but this particular user who was working with the Archive Explorer decided that they wanted to see the retention category associated with the items in their archive as well. Now there is an issue in that if you go through and do a search with the Archive Explorer, only the top level message will be displayed, not the individual message attachments. And what this means is that if a message attachment satisfied your search criteria, the message to which it is attached is displayed in the results. So you won't actually see the attachment there. So let's move on to some additional search tools that are going to be available. And we're going to look at the integrated and browser search and see how they can be used to help us find items. The integrated search opens within Outlook, and then you can do it by clicking on the Search Vaults toolbar button. We're also launching it from the menu. You can open it manually from within a web browser by going to the Enterprise Vault server, the Enterprise Vault web application, and going to search o2k.asp's active server page. The browser search itself, it opens in a web browser, and you're also from the integrated search, we will see that there is a link to the browser search from within the integrated search. Or again, you can just type in the address directly, the URL, by going to HTTP and then the server name, Enterprise Vault, and search.asp for the active server page. It enables you to do multiple searches and then group those searches together for the purpose of being able to restore items together as a group. It also enables the searching of multiple archives within its infrastructure. And you also have advanced features associated with the browser search. And if you want to do that, you have to add to the end of the URL for the search page a question mark and then the word advanced. And we'll go through and look at what that looks like here in just a moment. So here's our integrated search. This is showing you the Outlook 2010 environment. And we've clicked on the Search Vaults button, and it goes and opens up the integrated search feature. With the integrated search feature, you can see by default it has a search for, and then you can specify what you're looking for, click the Find button, and it'll give you a list of the items that it finds that meet your particular criteria. Notice there is also a Help button here to give you some help on how to organize your searches. And also in the upper right-hand corner, we have an Advanced Find option. We'll be looking at what the Advanced Find option does here in just a second. But before we go there, I just want to point out to the top left, we also have that link that could open up the browser search from within our integrated search. But we're going to here at this particular point click on the Advanced Find option. And when we open up the Advanced Find option, you can see that you can specify additional information based upon location, based upon the address, age, size, and if you look for certain types of extensions that exist as an attachment. So maybe you need to find all the documents that have a PowerPoint presentation attached to them. So you could do it based upon the file extension or the file name. Moving on to the browser search. When you first open up the browser search, there are a variety of metadata associated with your items that can be searched directly from the browser search. You can see in the list here things such as the subject, the author, content, expired date, retention category, and whether or not you want to include attachments in your search. When you are working with the browser search, you do also have the capability of grouping your search results into a shopping basket, and you can save these shopping baskets so that you can either come back to that search results later, or you can use those shopping baskets to help you restore a group of items simultaneously. The advanced feature, if I go into and add the question mark advanced at the end of the search, it opens up at the top section of the search the same criteria that I have available in the regular browser search, but then what it brings to the table is additional information. So I can go through and look at all fields, the text, which includes the subject and content fields, size and attachment number. Like if a particular item, maybe I need to find everything that has more than 5 attachments associated with it. So I could say anything from 5 to 10 attachments is what I'm searching for. Also, you can go into additional characteristics, and these can be custom filter items that you've attached to the particular message as part of the archiving process, or you can go through and use additional MAPI properties that would not normally be exposed or would not be needed for a typical user search capability. But you have all this capability built into the advanced search feature with the browser search. As we mentioned before, one of the other advantages that the browser search brings to the table is the capability of saving your search results in a shopping basket. Once you've saved it in a shopping basket, you can then go and list the current shopping baskets that you have available, and then you have the options of restoring those particular items either individually or the entire basket. Also, when you're going through and restoring the items, you have the option of being able to restore it to either a folder in your mailbox or restore it to a PST file if you need to be able to do that. And it's the shopping service that's responsible for managing these shopping baskets. And in previous lessons, we'd shown you where the shopping service was set up and how you can see if the shopping basket isn't, if the shopping service is actually running correctly. Next issue that comes up is that, well, if I'm going to go through and start using the browser search and being able to type in and select different types of information into the browser search for performing a search, what type of restrictions do I have when I'm typing things in for a search field? Well, the first thing is that it supports only literal searches, which means if you type in the word back, it will only find the word back. It doesn't find words like backup or backed. So it doesn't do that different forms of the same type of word searches. However, it does support the capability of adding wildcards. We can use an asterisk to search for multiple characters or a question mark to search for a single character. We've also got the capability of either excluding or including additional words. If you want to include the word, you add a plus symbol in front of it. If you want to exclude the word, then you put a minus symbol in front of it. And the example they show you here, if I want to search for Monday, but I don't want to have the word meeting in the message, I would type in my search field Monday space and then a hyphen or dash and then the word meeting. If I was searching for something such as, say, lead and paint, maybe I've got a legal case where I'm worried about somebody who is suing because they think my particular item has lead paint in it, I would go through and do lead and then do a space and then use the plus symbol in the word paint. And then I would only find the characteristics where I have the word lead and the word paint. Also, if you have been doing a full indexing, and we talked about in a previous lesson, working with the different indexing levels, both brief and full. If you did, in fact, select a full index option, you can do phrase searches. When you're doing phrase searches, we support both the double quotes as containing the phrase, as well as using a dot between the words to generate a phrase as well. But again, the reminder here is that you must have had full indexing selected in order to be able to do phrase searching. Also, just a couple other notes is the fact that when an item is indexed, all the punctuation is removed, and you cannot search for punctuation items. And that's because, as you can see, we're using asterisks and question marks as special characters in the search, so therefore they're not available for searching based upon them being a punctuation character. You can specify if the users are going to have access to the browser search from within the integrated search. This is one of the properties associated with your desktop desktop policy. And we talked about the desktop policy in an earlier lesson. So we've opened up this desktop policy named Priority Desktop Policy. You go to the Web Applications tab, and you have a couple different settings you can configure here. First is the Add All Enterprise Vault Servers to the Intranet Zone. And this will automatically add all the Enterprise Vault servers in this particular site to that local user's intranet zone. So therefore, it should not prompt them for a login when they try to connect to the web browser. Also, if they do or are using proxy server, you can tell it that you need to bypass the proxy server whenever they're accessing this particular uniform resource locator or URL. And then we also have that last option to show whether or not we wish to have the browser search as a link whenever they open up the integrated search. And again, this is all configured through the desktop policy that's associated with this particular user's provisioning group. Next thing is you can also go through and do additional customization of the web interface. through creating a file named webapp.ini and then saving that folder to wherever the Enterprise Vault installation directory is at the Enterprise Vault root directory. There are a couple issues with this. You need to save it as a ANSI encoded file. The entries are going to take the form of basically a setting and then an equal sign and then a value. And we'll see some examples of this web.ini file here in just a moment. The entries are case sensitive. If you do modify the webapp.ini file, you will be required to restart the Internet Information Services on the Enterprise Vault server. There's entries inside of the webapp.ini file to modify the format of the items that are being downloaded. The integrated search results page, including displaying delete, restore, and retention category. Being able to restore the browser search results to a PST file, as well as the type of authentication that you're going to support when you're accessing the web browser environment, or the web browser search. So as I mentioned, we're going to show you some examples here. If you want to set up the Enterprise Vault and the restore buttons, when you have the web browser open, you specify the value of isDelete button and you set that equal to 1. And for the restore button, you do isRestore button and set that equal to 1. If you want to be able to set it up so that the items viewed in the Archive Explorer and the Archive Search are displayed in a separate browser window instead of the native application, you set the view message underscore format equal to web. And if you'd like to enable the users to be able to restore those browser searches to PST files, it is the restore to PST option equals, and then you specify the domain name, backslash, and then the username. So in this particular example, the domain name is EV, and the user's login name is A. Jones. If you need more detail about all the different things that can be configured within the web app INI file, do refer to the contents of the Administrator's Guide and the Enterprise Vault Administration Console Help System. Now we're going to go and look at what happens here. On the upper right, we have a little excerpt from the web browser interface. And in this particular case here, it's showing different buttons that are being displayed within the web browser interface. And we're going to go through and look at where these settings are configured within the web app INI, which we have a little excerpt from the web app INI in the upper right. And what we've done to make it a little easier to see is we've just exploded up those toolbar buttons in the lower center section of the screen. So for my first button there is the search button. So therefore I set the values view message underscore search equal to 1, and I can see that it displays the search button. If I set the value view message underscore restore equal to 1, it will give me the restore button. If I do view message underscore delete equal to 1, that will give me the delete button. And then of course if I do view message underscore help, that will in fact give me the help button. So now we've looked at the basic search capabilities that are built into the Enterprise Vault infrastructure. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the additional search options that are available. First, we're going to look at the mobile search option. And we'll talk about how to install and configure your environment for the mobile search options. When we're talking about the mobile search option, it's a web application that will run on a variety of portable devices. And you should check the compatibility guide to determine which portable devices are in fact supported for the mobile search capability. It's going to be connecting to the Enterprise Vault through the Microsoft Internet Information Services using the hypertext transfer protocols, which is secure, which means I'm using the secured sockets layer. It will accept valid connection requests from the most common mobile devices that are out there. The users of the mobile devices can use a secure login to search their archives and search the results. They can also view the full messages and the attachments. They also have the capability of navigating the pages using provided command options. The mobile search capability will allow you to search not only your single archive, but also multiple archives on multiple Enterprise Vault servers that are within a single Enterprise Vault site. The mobile search can be installed with or without the BlackBerry Enterprise server if your mobile device is a BlackBerry device. The basic configuration for setting up the mobile search environment is that you will have a separate server on which you will run the mobile search server. It will be behind the firewalls that are protecting your intranet from your external network environment. And we're showing you here that that mobile search will then communicate with the domain controller to provide the authentication and to the Enterprise Vault servers to give you access to the individual archives that you have permission to see. The installation prerequisites, again, it shows you the hardware recommended minimums. Also, it shows you here the operating system that we require on the mobile search server, and then also the software that needs to be installed. And one of the things, again, since we are going to be using Secured Sockets Layer as part of the process, you need to have a digital certificate from a certificate authority. Now, in the lower right-hand corner, we're showing you several different types of servers there. These are the Enterprise Vault server, the Microsoft SQL server, our Microsoft Exchange server, and our BlackBerry Enterprise server. Symantec does not recommend installing the mobile search functionality on any of those particular servers. The basic steps for the pre-installation of the mobile search server include verifying that you have an Enterprise Vault server configured and all the services are running. You obtain that digital certificate to support the HTTPS protocol, and again, you can get one from VeriSign. Verify the firewall and reverse proxy configurations that are necessary to allow the communication from the internet into your intranet. Verify that the Internet Information Services are in fact running, and you need to log on as an account that has the local administrator privileges on the server that you're going to be installing the mobile search on. The actual basic process for installing the mobile search, you load or access the Enterprise Vault media. You're then going to run the installation, the Microsoft installation package file for the mobile search, and again, make sure that you do have the correct version that you're installing. You will select your authentication method, either a log-on screen or basic authentication. You will then specify your configuration information, and here in a moment we'll be looking at the different configuration information that's going to be available. Then you begin the installation process, and then you verify the installation by accessing the address, which is going to be HTTPS, and then the server that's acting as the mobile search server's name, and then the mobile search is the default name of the virtual directory in the Internet Information Services or server on that particular mobile search server. So configuring the mobile search, there you can edit the web.config file. It's located in the root installation folder for the mobile search server. It is case sensitive when you're making entries in there, and it allows you to configure a variety of different types of access, including the mobile device types that are going to be supported, the data cache, your session timeouts, the Vault site alias, and also it can modify certain user interface settings, including the language supported, the column width for seeing the details of your archives and these items that you found in your search interface, and the date format at which you wish to display this. For more details about using the settings that are available in the web.config for your mobile search, refer to the Symantec Enterprise Vault Setting Up Exchange Server Archiving Guide, and also see the Configuring Mobile Search Access to the Enterprise Vault chapter within that guide. Next, we're going to look at an additional an additional Enterprise Vault add-on, which is the Discovery Accelerator, and try to see the basics of how the Discovery Accelerator works, because again, it is a search tool that will be accessing the indexes that we've created in the Enterprise Vault environment. The Discovery Accelerator extends the basic functionality of Enterprise Vault by searching all index contents residing in the vaults. And again, if you are expecting to be using Discovery Accelerator when you're initially setting up your environment, you really want to set all of your indexes to full. A lot of times you have to make a decision when you're setting up the indexes for the Discovery Accelerator use. Do you need to search all of the mailbox archives, or do you just need to search the journal archive? Because again, that can impact on what different indexing level you're going to configure. It will perform deduplication of redundant archived items that have been found in multiple searches for both review and production. And when we use the term production here, this is for producing the actual items for presentation as evidence in a case. It provides a hierarchical view of the workflow that occurs when you're analyzing and reviewing the items that have been discovered in a search. You can apply legal holds. In an earlier lesson, we talked about how we could set the retention category to forever to try to get a pseudo legal hold, if you will. But here it'll actually apply the legal hold while the case is active. And then once you're done with the case, you can go back in and tell it to remove the legal hold. and then once that legal hold is removed, then that storage expiry and the retention category can automatically delete those items when they're no longer needed for the case. You can export relevant content using native formats such as PST, MSG, and so on. This is in case you need to do the searches, collect that information, and then send it off to somebody who doesn't have Discovery Accelerator to be able to view the search results. It also gives you the capability of auditing the case activity that's performed within the application. When you install the Discovery Accelerator application, not only does it connect to the Enterprise Vault environment, but it is going to actually be creating separate SQL Server databases to store all the information associated with the Discovery Accelerator searches. The basic process that's going to occur as part of the Discovery Accelerator, again, you're going to have archived all of your items, and whether or not they're mailbox archives or they're going to be journal archives. And Discovery Accelerator can also go through and search file system archives or SharePoint archives. Basically, anything that has been archived can be searched by Discovery Accelerator as long as it's been indexed. So therefore, I'll search the indexes to find the items relevant to the search, and we will take a quick peek at a Discovery Accelerator search page. Once I've got that, I'm going to decide whether or not I've actually found what I was searching for, and if I had, I will accept those particular items, which means they'll be stored within the Discovery Accelerator infrastructure so that I can then go back and review and categorize and analyze those particular items. And not only can I set that up as far as accepting them for review, there's also processes in there where I go back through and I analyze the data, review it, and then I can mark it. And by marking it, I can add additional information that can help me produce exactly what I need to produce for a case, which means that, again, I can go back in, I can audit what things have been happening inside of Discovery Accelerator, who looked at what, when they ran searches, things like that. And then I can also either produce or export those items for use in a legal case. So first we're looking at the client application. There's two separate pieces of the Discovery Accelerator. There's the server side of it and the client side of it. Here we're looking at the client side of it. And in this particular case, for the client application, when it opens up, it has a bunch of different tabs across the top, and we currently have the case tab selected. So we're going in and basically to organize the information within Discovery Accelerator, you typically organize it based upon a case that's currently in progress. So for this particular company, they've named this case lead paint. So we're going to go out and look for items that have lead paint in them in emails to try to prove whether or not we did in fact know that the items we were selling had lead paint in them. So when you create the search, you go through and specify a name. You can specify whether or not you've already created an additional search that you're going to go searching for. You can specify when you want to run the search, whether you want it to happen immediately or based upon a schedule that you can set up. You can specify a date range between two specific dates to do a search. Then you can go in and start specifying search terms. An example here, they're going to search either the subject or the content, and if it contains any of either lead or paint. And again, there's a whole bunch of documentation for the Discovery Accelerator to get you into how to form useful Discovery Accelerator searches. You can also search attachments, different items about the attachments, as well as some miscellaneous fields. Now, once you actually start the search, you can also go through and monitor the progress of the search as well in the client. Here we're going through and looking for any search that's currently either in progress, failed, paused, if the particular search is returning warnings, if there's no hits for the particular item, or pending. The only thing we're not looking for are searches that are already in review. And then in the middle section there, you can see that we've gone through or listed the top 2,000 archives by the number of hits that they have. So I've gone through Charles Smith's archive, and there was 24 hits that matched the particular search requirements that I've specified. Again, there is a separate course on using the Discovery Accelerator tool. In this lesson, we learned how to use the Archive Explorer and the Archive Search Client tools to access those archived items. In addition, we learned how to support our mobile clients for searching, and you were introduced to the search capabilities of the Discovery Accelerators. Our reference materials include the Administration Console Help System, the Installing Configuring Guide, Setting Up the Exchange Server Archiving and Administrator's Guide. There is a Mobile Search Getting Started Guide that we can access. And then for more information about the Discovery Accelerator, there's an Installation, Administrator, Reviewer's Guide. There's also a Best Practices for Implementation And as we mentioned as well, there's a white paper out there for configuring effective searches. And that brings us to the end of this lesson.